There are questions we're not supposed to ask, not because they're complicated, but because they're embarrassingly simple. They sit right in front of us, on street corners, above subway stations, carved into arches we walk beneath every day. We see them, but we do not look. Because from childhood, we've been trained to memorize answers, not to ask questions. When someone dares to point at them, when someone says, "Wait, why does this arch look Roman? Why does this dome look older than the city around it?" People laugh. Don't be ridiculous. That's just history. But history is not a photograph. It's not a fixed snapshot of the past. It's a script, and scripts can be edited, revised, redacted, or quietly deleted. Think about the story we're told. The late 1800s, an explosion of construction. In just a few decades, a young America supposedly built, cathedrals rivaling those of Europe, domed libraries worthy of emperors, opera houses dripping with marble, train stations larger than medieval cities, all with horse carts, all with pulleys and grit. Meanwhile today, with cranes that lift mountains with 3D modeling software, with global supply chains and billion-dollar budgets, what do we build? Glass boxes, shopping malls, identical high-rises that look tired the day they open. And when we dare attempt something grand, it takes decades. The costs spiral. The results disappoint. Notre Dame in Paris took nearly 200 years to complete. But we're told that 19th century America, a country of immigrants and horse carts, built thousands of monuments in 40 years. Really? It's like believing your grandparents, armed with rusty hand tools and no money, secretly built the iPhone, while you, with all the technology in the world, struggle to assemble a flip phone. Absurd, and yet we nod along. Because the textbook told us to. Maybe that's the real trick. Not that we're lied to, but that we've been trained not to ask. But what if we did? What if we stopped nodding, stopped repeating, and simply looked? Because once you start asking, you can never unsee. Tonight, we'll take a walk. Through streets you thought you knew, through arches, domes, and buried doors. Through neighborhoods whose names don't match their bones. And we'll ask the one question you were told never to. Did we build this world ourselves? Or are we tenants living in the ruins of a forgotten landlord? Our walk begins somewhere ordinary. So ordinary you'd never doubt it. Chinatown. Drop into street view. Red lanterns sway overhead. Golden dragons curl around gateways. Herbal medicine shops line the street. Tourists snap photos. Every corner screams China. But tilt your head up. Look higher, past the neon, past the lanterns. Do you see it? Arches, Roman, pilasters, neoclassical, cornices, straight from Vienna. The bones are Western. The costume is Eastern. Together, they form a masquerade. The story we're given is simple. Chinese immigrants arrived in the 1800s. They built this. But let's be honest, fresh off the boat, broke, exhausted, working 12-hour shifts on railroads, in laundries, living 3 families to a room. Are these the people carving Corinthian columns by candlelight, designing multi-story banks, raising monumental arches? It's absurd. It's like saying today's Uber drivers, after delivering fried rice and bubble tea all night, will pool their tips and build a marble opera house by 2030. We'd laugh at such a headline, and yet we swallow it when it's written in a textbook. Look again. The dragons are bright. The signs are fresh. But the stone beneath, that looks borrowed. Chinatown wasn't built, it was renamed, like moving into an old theater. The stage, the beams, the backdrops, already there. You just hang your costumes, repaint, and the audience claps. Look, Chinatown. If Chinatown is a costume, what about Little Italy, Greek town, all the ethnic quarters we love to photograph? Are they cultural footprints or cultural stickers slapped onto older bones? If even neighborhoods are inherited, what about entire cities? Leave Chinatown. Just a few steps away, the Manhattan Bridge, arch and colonnade. Majestic, grand, a triumphal arch like something ripped from Rome. But here's the puzzle. Why so much grandeur for the foot of a bridge? If it's just about function, steel beams and rivets would do. Yet here we stand, in front of a ceremonial gate fit for emperors. Compare both sides. One end, ornate, palatial, Beaux-Arts splendor. The other, stripped down, plain, almost embarrassed. If both were designed together, why the mismatch? We're told engineers built it in 1910. But doesn't it feel stitched, as if the arch belongs to another story, and the bridge was bolted in later, like sewing jeans to a tuxedo? The arch feels ancient, the bridge feels modern. Together they clash. It's almost as if the arch was already there, a relic of an earlier cityscape, and the engineers simply used it as decoration. So here's the thought. Maybe the Manhattan Bridge arch doesn't belong to the Manhattan Bridge at all. Maybe it belongs to a chapter of history that's missing. Zoom out. Not just Chinatown, not just Manhattan. Look at Boston, Philadelphia, San Francisco. Opera houses, domed libraries, palaces of marble. Textbooks say built 1870 to 1910. Horse carts, immigrants, but thousands in 40 years, everywhere. Notre Dame took 200 years. But America, in a single generation, produced thousands of grand monuments. Does that add up? Today, with billions and cranes, we struggle to finish one stadium on time. We cut corners, we build cheap, we copy-paste glass boxes. Yet somehow, 19th century America, with no cranes, no machines, no wealth, built architectural wonders across every city. It doesn't make sense. Maybe these cities weren't built. Maybe they were inherited. Museums we moved into, redecorated, renamed. So the real question is, who built the cities and when? Walk down an old street. Look closely. Windows buried in soil, doors opening into dirt, basements that look like former ground floors. The official story, oh, the street level changed. Really? Entire neighborhoods misplaced their first floors? Some call it the mud flood, as if cities drowned in earth, their lower halves entombed, and instead of digging them out, people shrugged, built stairs, moved on, like sweeping history under the rug. If buildings can be buried, what else has been buried, quietly, conveniently, beneath us? Open an atlas from 1700. Across Eurasia, Tartaria, today gone. No chapter, no lecture, no empire. Did it never exist, or was it erased? If city blocks can vanish under dirt, why not empires vanish from memory? Maybe the domes and arches we call colonial aren't colonial at all. Maybe they're Tartarian, adopted, rebranded. If an empire can be deleted, what else has been edited out? Look past buildings. The questions get stranger. In Peru, elongated skulls, explained away as head binding. Always the simple answer. But what if they're not modifications, but reminders of another lineage? Ancient myths whisper of hybrids. Dog-headed men, giants, stories in every culture. Are myths fairy tales or fragmented memory? If even myths are censored as fiction, how much truth hides in what we laugh at? So here we are. Every buried window, every torn map, every silent question. They all whisper. You don't need to believe every theory. You don't need to swallow every textbook. You only need courage to ask. Will you? Will you see with new eyes, even if the truth unsettles you? Because once you start questioning, you'll never see the world the same way again.